Hey everybody, thanks for watching today, the first ever episode of Confessions of a Young Pastor. Today, we're talking about depression. Hey everybody, Pastor Malachi here. Many of you know me, but maybe some of you do not. I want to say thank you. This is the very first episode of what I hope to be a video blog or a show or whatever you want to call it. I'm hoping it's something that can be helpful to every single person who watches. I haven't decided quite what I want to call it, although I might use it for social media. Hashtag Pastor Malachi. I'm thinking of calling this show, this video blog, Confessions of a Young Pastor. I'm a young pastor. I serve at two churches. One is a prayer pastor. Another one is a lead pastor of basically a replant and revitalization effort. I do social media on the side for several different organizations. I am a husband of over 14 years. Have a great wife. Shout out to Rachel. I'm also a proud dad of 4 awesome, crazy kids, 12, 10, 8, and 4. Hard to believe that. I also uniquely serve, at least for 1 year, as the second vice president of the Southern Baptist Convention. So all that to say this, I am a young pastor. And I just want to have a chance to share some things with you that I've faced and gone through, some things in my life I want to be very transparent about, hopefully very real and vulnerable and honest, hopefully in a way that maybe some things that I share could be a help to you. And maybe there's some things that you could ask me to talk about that maybe somehow through some things I face, I can be of a help. I don't have all the answers. I'm still really young, but I want to be a help and an encouragement and a blessing to pastors and non-pastors and Christians and non-Christians. So that's what the goal of this whole thing is all about. So again, we're calling this today Confessions of a Young Pastor. And today I want to talk about depression. Depression. It's easier to admit now than it was years ago, but there was a season of my life where I went through a serious issue of depression. It was so serious, it had serious effects on my family, my marriage, the church I served, the friends I had. I mean, I had spiraled out of control and was just in a dark, dark fog and just felt like a spot where I felt frozen about what to do next. 4 years ago, give or take, at the church that I was working to replant, my wife and I had spent the first year working to bring this church to health, and it was a good church, but we had some dreams and visions in our heart, and we saw God do a work. But 1 year into it, one fateful Sunday after church, I knew some things were happening, and I wasn't able to stop them. And trust me, I made a lot of mistakes. First year of pastoring, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. I think there's a few things I've done right, but I've made a ton of mistakes. But by God's grace, He's kept me through. But one Sunday after church, one of the key leaders came up to me and said, Pastor Malachi, I'm going to ask you to resign this church. And if you don't, we'll have a meeting to discuss it and possibly bring it to the church. And I immediately said, well, I'm not resigning, and you can bring it to a meeting, and we'll see what happens. And lo and behold, it didn't go to a meeting, but in the weeks before, and the weeks after, and the months after, we lost a ton of people. And we lost all the momentum that we had. And it felt like everything that we worked to build, my wife and I and family and other leaders, just felt like it came crumbling down. And in the midst of that, I became so worried about what people were saying and what people were thinking, and how do I do damage control, and is this person leaving this week, and what's going to happen this Sunday? Is anybody going to show up? And I mean, it was so bad that I was depressed. Saturdays I would just be horrible to be around. My family, I was no good to my wife and kids on Saturdays because I was so worried about Sunday. And then Sunday night, I wouldn't even sleep because I was thinking about all the things I'd done wrong that day. And I just felt like I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I couldn't go back to sleep because it felt like there was this crushing weight on my soul. And I didn't know what to do. And so I have a great wife, and she told me to go to the doctor. And sure enough, I went to the doctor. After some